Hey everyone, today I wanted to do a video talking to you about what I just took to the 2-day rifle course that I just attended through Spartan Training Concepts here in Oregon. Both when I was working as an instructor and me now as a student, a lot of times when I see people talking about going to take a training class somewhere, they're always asking, well, what do I bring? Should I bring this? Should I bring that? They have a lot of questions. So I'm going to try to give you an overview of the things that I brought with me and some of the lessons that I learned about the things that I brought with me and some things that I might do differently for the next time I take a class. Hopefully this will help you, make a decision of what you want to put in your range bag, but I'll do my best to kind of cover the high points. So don't bring a high point. That's probably the first one. So let me tell you about the rifle I have here, how I have it set up and why I have it set up that way. And then I'll talk to you about some of the accessories that I brought with me as well. So this is a rifle. This is an SBR. The lower is a Form 1 Spikes Tactical lower. And on top I have a 11.5-inch BCM upper. This is chambered in 5.56. Now, I really like going with companies that I absolutely can trust. That's why I have Spikes Tactical and BCM. I have a lot of experience with their products in the past, and I've yet to be let down. So that's why I went with those. I have a Primary Arms red dot. Now, when it comes to optics in a class, there was a person who was running just irons. They did just fine. I was running a red dot. That worked just fine. There was someone running a variable power optic, and that works just fine. Pick whatever you're going to be comfortable with. I would encourage you though, especially if you're going to go with a red dot, don't pick up the cheapest thing you can find on the shelf. This one, like I said, is a Primary Arms red dot. And in my opinion, these are the best value for a red dot on the market right now. This is one of 3 that I personally own. I paid full price for all 3 of them. I've taken this specific one is one I've owned the longest. It's been through rain, sleet, snow, heat, everything, and I've yet to kill it. I have to change out the batteries every 6 months, and I could probably go longer, but that's just how often I do it. And I've yet to kill this thing. And again, this class was a testament to that. Up here, I have a light. Now, the class that I was doing was a daylight only, so it's not necessary to have a light for a class like that. However, since this is how I have this rifle set up for any serious use, I wanted to run it in the class like how I would have it set up for serious use. Just for reference, it is a Streamlight ProTac Rail 1. Again, in my opinion, one of the highest value weapon lights on the market right now. Comes with a tape switch, runs CR123s. And if you have the Rail 1 like I have versus the Rail 2, it will also run doubling batteries, which is excellent. I don't know how you could do any better than that. Running a standard muzzle brake on the front from Strike Industries as well as a Strike Industries stock. One of the big things that you will learn very quickly is good or not is a sling during a class. I specifically wanted to get a Blue Force Gear Vickers padded sling for this class, and I'm very glad I did. I've run the regular Magpul, MS3s and MS4s for a really long time, and I'll tell you, if you're just wearing a t-shirt or something like that, it'll really wear down on that shoulder that your strap's coming over. So having the padded sling from Blue Force Tactical was very, very nice. By taking training classes, that's how I ended up going from a single point sling to a 2-point sling. I used to love single point slings because of what it allowed me to do, but I learned very quickly taking classes that it's not necessarily ideal if you're going to be carrying a rifle for an extended period of time. So hence why I've gone with a 2-point sling on this now, and really for all my rifles at this point. Now, as far as the accessories, I ran exclusively Lancer mags in this class, and I have to say they held up surprisingly well. It was the entire first day of the class was pouring down rain, so the ground was just mud and grass. So every time my mags hit the ground, a lot of times they were partially loaded when they did that. It just got caked in mud and dirt and grass, and you can tell that these things are still really, really dirty. The class was just over 1,000 total rounds. I probably could have kept it right at 1,000 if I'd policed myself better, but it's hard not to get a little trigger happy when you have a fun gun to shoot. But you can tell that these mags are super dirty, and I'll try to roll in a close-up too if this doesn't do it justice. But these Lancer mags held up amazingly well. Again, they were getting just coated in dirt and gunk, and when I was loading the mags, I could feel it just grinding against the walls of the mag, and I couldn't kill them. They just kept feeding and feeding and feeding. The only issue I had was they didn't drop free, but that's not a problem for me since I do a rip and strip anyway every single time. But that said, I still love, especially the translucent ones, being able to see the ammo, especially if I'm picking up a mag off the ground. And I love the reinforced feed lips, or just the steel feed lips. So I couldn't be happier with these mags. I think from now on, as I've said in other videos, I'm going to try to transition solely to Lancer mags because they've worked out so well for me. But going along with mags, that brings me into ammunition. So if you're taking a training course, and there's a lot of people online who are going to tell you this, if you're going to take a training course online, or excuse me, if you're going to take a training course at all, use quality ammunition. Now, I'm not saying you have to use match grade ammo to take a training class because that would get prohibitively expensive for a 1,000 round class. What I personally used was Fiocchi. Now, Fiocchi is an ammo that I have a lot of experience with. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on Fiocchi ammunition over the years. I fell in love with it when I was shooting my 300 Blackout because theirs was one of the cheapest ammos I could find and was also one of the most accurate out there as well. So I absolutely fell in love with them. And so for this class, I wanted to make sure I was running quality ammunition because I was testing so much new stuff. So I reached out to Fiocchi and they hooked me up with ammo for the class. And I'll tell you that knowing that your ammo is good to go is going to let you know whether the fault in your other stuff is the fault of your other stuff or is the fault of your ammo. So by having good quality ammo, I was able to say, okay, if this isn't working, then it must be my bolt, which is an issue that I had at one point, which I'll go a little bit more into depth here in a minute. So I went with Fiocchi ammo. This is really, really high quality ammo, and I'll be doing a dedicated video on this on the Haas USMC's channel. I could not recommend it enough. One of the great things is it's produced here in the US. They've been making ammo here in the US since the 80s. So I know even though Fiocchi, obviously it's an Italian name, they are actually producing ammo here in the US. And I was talking to them at SHOT Show, and they employ 100 people every single day here in the US, which is a great thing. If you have the option to do that. So quality ammo, myself, I went with Fiocchi. There's other good manufacturers out there as well, but make sure you have good quality ammo for the class. Again, so if you're trying to troubleshoot whatever problem you're having, you can rule out it being ammo related if you're using quality ammo. One of the other things I recommend bringing is a cleaning kit of some sort. I have mine off here to the side. I also have a little backpack version from Otis, which works out well when I need it, which was really never with this thing. But having a cleaning kit in case you get dirt and gunk stuck inside your muzzle or in the chamber or anything like that, you can knock out any obstructions. Having extra lube handy is great to just be able to spray in there if you need to, if things are getting super dirty. But again, what I was using worked out really well, which let me see if I can grab it. What I was using was the anti-venom from Strike Industries. I'll probably be doing a review on this today now that I've tested it for a few months and run it through this class. I just sprayed it inside the chamber area or inside the upper receiver before the class started, and I never had to re-lube it again after that. It held up really, really well, and the thing got really dirty, so I was really impressed there. I'll actually be cleaning it here today. I just wanted to keep it nice and dirty to show for the ammo review I'm going to be doing. But yeah, having extra cleaning supplies is definitely a must. Again, off screen, I have my, I believe they're the Peltor Impact Sport hearing protection. I really encourage you for a training class to have some sort of electronic hearing protection. That way you can very clearly hear the instructors and what they're saying, but also have it still block out the loud gunshots every time that goes off. So some sort of quality hearing protection is a really good thing. And another thing you definitely want to have is spare parts. So like I kind of hinted at earlier, I had bought a brand new bolt carrier for this rifle to run through this class, and I'd maybe put 50 rounds through it before the class. And for whatever reason, the bolt kept not wanting to go into full battery. And Thankfully, I had my backup rifle with me, so I just pulled the bolt carrier group out of that, threw it in here, and then it ran flawlessly the rest of the time. I still have yet to fully troubleshoot what happened there. I'm going to be doing some testing with that hopefully today here on the range. But you know, having extra parts handy to be able to just quickly swap things out is good, even if it's just totally swapping out your rifle. If you have a backup rifle, could be a really good option, because you want to kill as much downtime as possible. You know, the less time you're on the range, the less time you have to learn, and you know, the classes has to move on without you. So being able to quickly get your gear back up and running is something you want, and so having extra parts handy is going to be good for that. If you don't have those parts handy, you know, do the best with what you got. One of the things I definitely don't want to forget mentioning is extra batteries for anything that has batteries. So hearing protection, if you have electronic hearing protection, bring batteries for that. If you have an optic, bring backup batteries for that. If you have a flashlight that you're going to have to use in the class, if it's like a low light class, bring backup batteries for that. Worst case scenario, if you're going to run a red dot, have backup iron sights. These are the ones from Aero Precision that I was trying out for this class, and I'll be doing a review on hopefully in the nearish future. Because if that dot goes down, you still want to be able to run the class, and so by having something there to use for sights is definitely something you want to do. Me personally, one of the other things that I like to have in a class with me is some sort of note-taking material and a pen. For me personally, I like using the Write in the Rain stuff just because it rains here in Oregon, and like I said, the whole first day of the class was just a downpour, and you know, something to be able to write with, because when you're back jamming up your mags again, you know, write down the drills you just did. Write down, you know, what you thought about them. Maybe you won't have time to write down all your thoughts about it, but write down what you can. And then at the end of every day, you know, keep like a little journal. I know it may sound dumb to a lot of people, but the stuff you learn in a training class is perishable. You know, it has a half-life of, you know, maybe a couple weeks. You know, you go out a month after your class and you're trying to remember, well, what did we do here? How did we practice this? How did we practice that? By having it written down, you're going to get the most out of that class, in my opinion. And just being able to organize your thoughts at the end of each day is a really valuable thing, again, in my opinion. So that's something that I would personally recommend that you do. So one of the most important things that you need to bring to a class like the American Rifleman class at Spartan Training Concepts is an open mind. A lot of us have a lot of preconceived notions about what the right way to do things are, do things is, and you know, every trainer is going to have a little bit of a different perspective on that. So definitely try to do things the way the instructors want you to do. It may be foreign to you, it may be a totally different way of doing things, but usually they have a really good reason for why they have you do that, and then it's going to fit in with the rest of their curriculum. So by doing it the way they want you to, it's going to set you up for success in the class. Now, I'm not saying that you have to keep doing it that way at the end of the class. That's the great thing about training at as many different places as possible. You get a bunch of different perspectives, and you get to, you know, pick it like a buffet. Well, I liked this, I don't want that, and you're able to kind of amalgamate that into your own personal way of doing things. But by trying out those things, it's going to make you a much more diversified individual. So I would definitely encourage you doing that. So hopefully I covered just about everything that you should know or should bring or should keep in mind when you're collecting all the stuff that you're going to take to a class. Obviously, each class is going to be a little bit different. Take a look at their gear list. If you have any questions, contact the instructors, get their opinions on it. They're going to have a much better understanding of what they want you to be able to do in that class than I can probably give you. But I still wanted to be able to give you my perspective as a student, what I brought, what worked and what didn't. Really, I'm very happy with the way that my setup performed. It's now given me an opportunity to do really good, informed reviews on a lot of the stuff that I used in the class. So you'll be seeing those over the next couple weeks and months. Hopefully, don't want to inundate you guys too bad. But again, I really liked taking the class. If you want to know more about the class itself, I'll put a link to a video that I did earlier today about kind of about the class itself and kind of my after action report for it and my kind of review of the class. Long story short, an excellent class. If you are in the Pacific Northwest or anywhere close to it and you want to take your training up to the next level, check out Spartan Training Concepts. I'll have a link below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns for me, go ahead and leave those in the comment section below. I'll try to get back to you as quick as I can. But as always, I hope you're able to get something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.